Hi there, and happy Monday to you. Welcome to the Salvation Army's Behind the Shield. I'm your host, Ron Day, and I truly hope that your week is off to a great start. Today, we are going to meet your Knoxville Salvation Army's lead case manager and many other things, Blake Kraft. She is with us today. We'll be learning all about what she does for the Salvation Army and our community, and we'll learn all about our mission as a whole and how she plays a part in that. We'll also discuss the mission of the Salvation Army here in East Tennessee. Also joining us is Jessica Maples. She is a board member here at the Salvation Army in Knoxville, and she also is the marketing administrator at BESCO, and I'll let her tell a little bit more about that as well. So, without further ado, please get ready for this week's episode of Salvation Army's Behind the Shield. And as I mentioned, we are joined today by Blake Kraft and Jessica Maples. Jessica, I'm actually going to let you go first, if you wouldn't mind telling us just a little bit about yourself, where you're from, hobbies, that kind of thing.
Thank you, Ron. My name is Jessica Maples. I am the officially marketing administrator for BESCO and Ingert here in Knoxville. Mm-hmm. We are electrical contractors in Knoxville since 1950, and Ingert is a mechanical contractor in Knoxville since 1891, and we are kind of together as a full contractor package. It's really fun work, exciting. I've been in Knoxville pretty much my whole life and been at BESCO for about 6 years. I am also a board member for Salvation Army, and I have been on the board for about 3 years, I think. Okay. I lose track of time sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of an assigned representative for BESCO to have a board seat, and I have just really enjoyed the mission here and the programming and the impact that the Salvation Army makes to our Knoxville community. Okay.
Yeah, and that actually leads me to a question about how you wound up becoming a board member in the first place. How does that even happen? And because obviously it requires some time and some effort, so not many people want to add to what they already do for a living. So how did you come to do that?
It's like I said, I was an assigned executive for BESCO. BESCO had a seat for a number of years, and a person had left BESCO, and their seat was available, so they just kind of reassigned that position. Okay. Because the Salvation Army and BESCO have been partners for a number of years, and We've tried to support, BESCO tries to support our local communities anyway, and Salvation Army is a great program to support. We've done some food things, some food missions with BESCO and here and partnering, but since I've been here, I'm really trying to make our partnership more impactful and make our partnership with BESCO more, more fulfilling mm-hmm. for us as a company and us as employees. So it is some time to have a full-time job and be on the board, but there's also a blessing in it, a blessing in being able to serve amongst a very busy calendar. I have a full-time job and a full-time family, and I just make Salvation Army part of my job, part of my day, and give them the time they need to do events and activities and whatever they need from the board. I try to give them what my gifts and talents, which is time, organization, administration, things like that, mm-hmm. To help the programs succeed.
Well, and one of those programs that we have here is the Joy Baker Center, and it's and I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit more about that. And you guys, as I mentioned as we were opening, Blake Kraft is also with us, and she is the elite case manager, and I'm going to let her talk a little bit about herself, about how she came to Salvation Army, and the Joy Baker program, because something we're going to be featuring today is talking about Cup of Hope, which is a fundraising event that directly benefits the Joy Baker Center. So, Blake, if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead and introduce yourself and lead right into Joy Baker and all of that.
Yes, sir. My name is Blake Kraft. I'm the lead case manager for the Joy Baker Center mm-hmm. and also our 2-gym Pathway of Hope program. Okay. I've been with the Salvation Army since December of 2013, and I actually started by being a volunteer for our first annual in-house Cup of Hope. Mm-hmm. And so this event, I am super passionate about. Mm-hmm. It not only directly helps fund our program, but it gets our word out there to the public and maybe helps connect us with a victim or a family who may need our services. Mm-hmm. And so that first year, I was a cosmetologist at the time.
Okay.
And a dear friend of mine asked me, can you come by and maybe just do hair for the event? And I said, yeah, no problem. It was a no-brainer. And I just remember feeling and seeing those families feel, it's like a twinkle came back in their eye.
Yeah.
They felt important. Mm-hmm. They felt pampered. And I just wanted to be a part of that. And I had never done this work before, but here I am.
Yeah.
9 years later.
9 years later. So 9 years ago, you came, you volunteered to do hair.
Yes.
And maybe some makeup. And,
yes.
And then you became a staff member just overnight?
I applied that night.
Wow.
And it took from October until December.
Wow.
I started December 13th.
That's awesome. Well, so God obviously had a plan for you to find your way into into this work. That's awesome. So if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit specifically about Joy Baker, because we've talked about it in some of our previous episodes, but this is more of a focus on this episode. So tell us a little bit about that program specifically.
Joy Baker is what we consider an emergency.
Is it domestic violence? Is that?
It is.
Okay.
It has a primary focus of families who are attempting to flee intimate partner violence and or are homeless. And so we have a capacity of 26. Mm-hmm. We have 6 rooms, and our program is short term. Yeah. But right now, during this housing crisis, we've been seeing people stay with us a little bit longer.
Yeah, and that's a program that's meant for women with or without children.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Yes.
And you said we have a capacity of 26.
Yes.
Are we often at capacity?
Yes, sir.
So are we at capacity right now?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously there's a problem out there where people are. There's probably more of a need than we have rooms for, because I'm sure there's a waiting list.
Well, we do have to operate on a first-come, first-served basis, but just this week I've gotten more than 15 calls from our partner agencies. Okay. Hey, Blake, do you have space? Can you assist this family with 4 children or 6 children? And it's like, no, but I would like to. Yeah. And so it's hard being at capacity and not being able to meet that need. Yeah.
And that leads me to ask, how would I go about, finding help? What channels would I need to go through? Who would I need to tell that I need help with in that particular regard? If there's a young woman out there who's needing that kind of help, how do they get in touch with us?
So one of the most recent ways that we have been able to reach our community is Christy and myself. We go every Monday to the Family Justice Center, and we provide services that assist women or families or men with filing orders of protections or just connecting them with community resources. Okay. And so that's one way. You could go through the Family Justice Center, indicate that you'd like to work with the Salvation Army, and then we can be connected. Okay. The other way is to call our main office at 865-525-9401 and ask for the Joy Baker Center. Yep. Or hit the extension 420.
That's perfect. And for more information on any of our programs, you can always visit us at salvationarmyknoxville.org as well. And thank you for that information. We're going to go back to Jessica for just a moment, because we want to kind of focus on a very specific event. An event that helps to raise funds for the Joy Baker Center, which Blake just helped us understand a little bit better. So, Jessica, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit specifically about Cup of Hope and that event.
Yes, as Blake mentioned, this is our 9th annual Cup of Hope luncheon. This year we are moving to a bigger venue to help accommodate more guests and more sponsorship opportunities. So our event will be Tuesday, October 25th at the Bridgewater Place, which is at 205 Bridgewater Road in Knoxville. And it's a luncheon, so it starts at 11:30, and we will have some a speaker event. Kim Hansard from Star 102.1 will be our MC once again this year, as she was in the past. She does a great job with this program. We'll talk about programming, about impact, about what every dollar we receive, how that impacts children that live in this facility, women who live in this facility. There's lots of things at the Salvation Army that you kind of don't even know about because it's kind of behind the scenes things. We will also have some hope boxes. We call them hope boxes. So they're mystery raffle prizes that you can buy for $25, $50, or $100. And who knows what you're going to get. It could be a gift card. It could be a basket. It could be any number of wonderful things that we've been collecting and looking for around the community to make it really special and make it really fun.
Okay. And so obviously that has a very, it's specifically meant to help fund the Joy Baker Center. That we've talked about already, domestic violence. We do have a partner program for men who are actually fleeing from domestic violence called Operation Bootstrap. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we've actually helped them, some of the men who have come through the Family Justice Center, which the Family Justice Center didn't know that we had spots for men. It's a rarity, especially in our area. So I think that is just such an awesome thing that we've been able to start up and a service provided, because the stigma is that it just affects women, and that's just not true.
That's actually, I love that we do that. And I'll be honest, the longer I'm here, I've been with Salvation Army since April of this year. And the longer I'm here, the more I learn about things that we do that I didn't know before. We've mentioned on previous episodes that we're a church. We have church services on Sunday morning. We have Bible studies on Wednesday night. Anyone is welcome to come to Church of the Salvation Army. It's not just for people who are in our residential programs. If you live in the area and you don't have a local church, by all means, please visit us on Sunday mornings. And again, you can find out those times on our website at salvationarmyknoxville.org. I want to just, before the break, we've got a break coming up in just a little bit, but before that, I want to go back to Jessica for just a moment. What kind of help do we need with this event, with the Cup of Hope event, or do we need help with it?
We always need help, Ron, for sure. So we are selling table sponsorships, tables for $1,000 for tables of 8, which is includes some logoing and some social media and some recognition for your company or yourself if you have friends that you would like to gather up and do this for. We also sell individual tickets for $60 a seat if you just want to come and support the program. And then there's also event sponsorships that we can help you custom design an event sponsorship if that's something you or your business is interested in. We'll be glad to help you with that. There's always a need. The thing I've been always most impressed about Salvation Army is how much of their money goes straight back to programs, and it's not tied up in national overhead and things like that, like other organizations could be. I've always been very proud that Salvation Army, so much of their money goes straight back to the local programs they serve. So there are, of course, expenses to having a luncheon, but there's, everything we make, everything gets contributed straight back to the Joy J. Baker program.
And I really love that you mentioned that, and I want to get back into that a little bit more after the break. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the programs locally and how those benefit our communities and how you can be a part of that yourself. We'll be right back with Behind the Shield right here on Joy 620 WRJZ. And welcome back to the Salvation Army's Behind the Shield right here on Joy 620 WRJZ. My name is Ron, and again, we are joined by Blake Kraft and Jessica Maples. Blake Kraft is lead case manager here at your Knoxville Salvation Army, and she heads up a number of our programs. In addition to our Blake today, we also have Jessica Maples, who is the marketing administrator at Besco and Ingert. Yes, I got it.
I know you do.
Okay. So when we left for the break, we had been talking about Cup of Hope, which is a which is specifically benefits. It's a fundraising event that benefits the Joy Baker Center, which is a domestic violence recovery program that we have here at the Salvation Army. And with that, Jessica mentioned specifically that how the money that is raised and given here at Knoxville, at the Salvation Army here in Knoxville, stays in the Knoxville programs, meaning you're not giving to a huge nationwide organization that is going to be funding programs somewhere on the West Coast or somewhere in the Midwest. All of it stays right here in Knoxville and in the surrounding community here. Matter of fact, we serve 6 counties from this area command. And so, Jessica, I just want to, if you don't mind, just kind of reiterate a little bit about how this benefits, because you're a board member as well. And so you know the Salvation Army. You've been a board member for about 3 years, you said. You know this work fairly well. So by all means, please go ahead.
Yes, like I said, so one of the things that most impressed me when I started at the Salvation Army Board was how the programs directly go back, stay in our area. As Ron mentioned, we're in 6 counties. The Knoxville Command also serves Knox County, Anderson County, Sevier County, Cott County, Blount County. And there's a lot of reach. The Sevierville Command has some different needs as a community that Knoxville does. They handle a lot of emergency response things like the wildfires that we recently had in the Gatlinburg-Warres Valley areas. The Maryville Command handles a lot of issues with grandparents raising grandchildren, which is a big need in that area, with also some food ministries and some things like that. All commands can provide services for, utility services, food assistance, violence shelters, short-term sheltering, long-term, programming to help transition you into long-term housing. So the money stays here. Ron's right. It does not go to Chicago. It is not somewhere in California. It stays here where the need is and the programs begin.
Yeah. And another area, and many people, I think, are aware of our disaster services that we provide in cases of natural or man-made disasters to help mitigate some of the fallout from that and some of the impact. You may have seen our canteen, which is our disaster deployment vehicle. That you may have seen that up in Sevierville during the fires, as Jessica mentioned. But with that in mind, these local programs that are being funded right here by the community. Blake, tell us just a little bit about, because you work in those programs every day. And so as a lead case manager, I don't know what a lead case manager does. And there might be somebody out there that might be saying the same thing. Okay, well, that's great. Blake sounds nice. I don't know what she does.
We do a little bit of everything, Ron. I mean, really.
Okay. Sprinkle
a little hope on top with it. But no, I primarily work in the Joy D. Baker Center, where I provide one-on-one case management, really just meeting the family where their need is. Okay. So as you know, with domestic violence, a family or a person may have to leave with just the clothes they have. Mm-hmm. We can connect people with clothing. We can connect people with service providers that can help them recover documents that are needed to acquire housing. Every family can start at different places, and so we just kind of meet the need. That's where it is.
Well, you mentioned something where you help connect them with other things, and so you become kind of a liaison.
Yes.
Between them and other places, whether it's agencies or government, agencies where they would get documents replaced, like you said, driver's licenses, Social Security cards, things like that.
And that's a huge, it's a common issue that we see. Okay. So we've developed relationships in our community with people such as VMC or CAC. We frequently get referrals from these agencies, as well as other service providers that kind of do the same thing we do, other domestic violence shelters. And so, yes, I do serve as the liaison sometimes, and I utilize those resources that we've developed. Mm-hmm. But then sometimes I just plain get on Google and say, we're going to figure it out. If I don't have an answer, we're going to figure it out together.
Okay. So you're okay with flying by the seat of your pants sometimes if you need to.
Sometimes it's required.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. So whatever it takes to get the job done is what it sounds like. So if if you're out there and you're thinking, I don't know where I'm going to get any hope, you can always reach out to us by phone. Blake, if you wouldn't mind giving us that number one more time.
Yes, sir. It's 865-525-9401. And when prompted, choose the 420 extension.
Okay. Perfect. And again, you can always check us out online at salvationarmyknoxville.org. And I want to get back over to, because what Blake had just described was something that she does for the Joy D. Baker Center, which is domestic violence recovery program that we have here at your Knoxville Area Command, Salvation Army. And with that, it needs funding. And one of the ways we do that is with this event that's coming up very soon called Cup of Hope. And so I want to jump back over to Jessica real quick so that she can give us those details again and tell us, again, a little bit about Cup of Hope.
So Cup of Hope is our main fundraiser luncheon for the Joy D. Baker Center. It is going to be Tuesday, October 25th at the Bridgewater Place, starting at 11:30. We'll have lunch. We'll have a program, speakers, testimonies, so you can really see the impact the center has on human beings that live here and they get resourced here. You can buy tickets on our website at the salvationarmyknoxville.org, and you can contact the Salvation Army for more information and direction. We are looking to sponsor some tables, have some Hope Mystery raffle boxes, so that's always a fun prize. And again, it's October 25th, starting at 11:30 at Bridgewater Place.
At Bridgewater Place. Okay. So again, if you would like to be a part of that, if you'd like to volunteer to help at the Salvation Army, whether it's with an event like this or with Angel Tree or with any of the programs that we have coming up, if you would, matter of fact, if you would like to ring the bell, we're going to have red kettles out here starting in November, just like we do every year. It's and if you'd like to help with that, the URL for that is registertoring.com. You can go there and look up your area and where you would like to serve, and just schedule yourself in a shift. And it's really that easy. Also, if you're looking for any volunteer opportunities, you can go to volunteareasttn.com. And you can find opportunities. You just click on Salvation Army, and you'll find all of the opportunities we have for you available here in Knoxville to volunteer. Okay, so we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about the Joy D. Baker Center, and we will discuss Cup of Hope and how you can get involved and how you can help a program like Joy D. Baker Center help others who are in desperate need of help. Right here on Joy 620 WRJZ. And we're back with the Salvation Army's Behind the Shield, Joy 620 WRJZ. Once again, we are joined by Blake Kraft, who is lead case manager at your Knoxville Salvation Army, and also Jessica Maples, marketing administrator and board member here at the Salvation Army. She's marketing administrator with Besco and Ingert. I'm going to make sure I get that right. And also a board member for 3 years here at the Salvation Army. And she is heading up an amazing event that's coming up very soon. Please tell us again about that event, Jessica.
So our Cup of Hope event is a luncheon on October 25th at the Bridgewater Place, starting at 11:30 to support the Joy D. Baker Center. We'll have a program speaker, a testimony, some lunch, some fun, prize boxes that are you can buy online or you can buy at the event. It's such an important event to support Joy D. Baker because domestic violence impacts 1 in 4 Knoxville women each year. And then in 2019, the Knoxville Police Department responded to 12,500 calls in response to domestic violence. Wow. So that number is entirely too high for any community, but particularly, I think, for Knoxville. So that's why we are putting so much love and sweat and tears into Cup of Hope to go back to support our Joy D. Baker Center, to give these women a place to come alone or with their children, that they can find some shelter, some sanctuary, and just be safe and feel safe, like they can lay their head down and not be afraid. So the Cup of Hope is such a dear event to all of us on the board and the development committee, just to really spread awareness and to bring light that, 12,500 domestic violence calls come through the Knoxville Police Department. That's what gets called in, not necessarily what never gets reported, what never was called in for help and support. So that number is probably, who knows what that number really looks like. Okay. The good thing about Joy J. Baker is they have an 81% permanent housing rate. So Blake and her team really work every day to help these women, help these families go into permanent housing, to stay in a permanent housing, and to stay in a safe environment.
Wow. Well, that's good. And it's something that we take for granted a lot of times, many of us do, is just being able to go home and feel safe when we lay down at night. And I really appreciate you mentioning that. And I know we've had very specific cases that have been successes and resulting from this particular program. Blake, if you wouldn't mind, just share with us a little bit about maybe one of those success stories.
Sure. This year's speaker for the Cup of Hope event is actually a recent graduate of the Joy Baker program. And when she left us, she left into permanent housing, also able to petition for custody of her fourth child. Oh. And, she's actually engaged in our Pathway of Hope program as well. So we keep up with her week to week. Mm-hmm. We check in with her to see how we can help her. And Pathway of Hope, in comparison to Joy Baker Center is more of emergency mode, mm-hmm. survival mode.
Right.
You come, you don't have a place, but we are a place that you can lay your head and rest assured you're safe.
Yeah.
And you get the basic needs that you have for your family. One of the ways funding from an event like this is we're able to purchase diapers and basic hygiene items. And you mentioned we take for granted just being able to go home and feel safe. But when you think about not coming to a place and not even having a bar of soap or food, we can provide those basic needs. And so I just feel like not only that, we're looking more in depth in what a person needs to thrive and reintegrate themselves back into our community. So our speaker did just that. She came in with the bare minimum, but we were able to connect her. But where it comes from is her desire to get out of that survival mode and be able to look to her future and work on goals, things that's been on her mind for years. And so Pathway of Hope is helping her do those things. We're helping sit down and indicate the areas she wants to focus on, whether it's her budget, anything.
Yeah.
She actually just went back to school, mm-hmm. and so she's very, very proud of herself, being able to do what she does every day, take care of her kids, get them to school, do homework, and then make a little bit of time for her to do her own homework and to.
Well, that's pretty great, and the fact
better.
the fact that she can feel like she's able to be a mom,
right.
She's able to be there for her kids, all because she has some place that she can go and feel safe, because she has a place. And this is something else that the Salvation Army does here. All of our residential programs, we serve 3 meals a day,
right,
to each of those. We have a fully staffed kitchen. And they do a lot of cooking in there. And I see these families get provided meals every day as they're getting their life back together, as they're some of the basic stuff that we take for granted.
It just kind of takes the pressure off a little bit.
Exactly, absolutely.
it does. You can focus on working on the things you need to get back to that good place.
Yeah. Well, you want to get to a place where you can dream again.
Right.
Because if all you're focusing on is just making it through the day and surviving, just mm-hmm. getting a little bit to eat, then you don't have time to dream at all or to make goals or mm-hmm. The future doesn't look that great. And you can't even look at the future.
And that's what Pathway of Hope is all about, being able to get past that mm-hmm. and look to the future and be able to dream and go towards those dreams.
Absolutely. And if you want to be a part of helping to make that possible for people out there, like the guest speaker that's going to be speaking at the Cup of Hope event, and you'll have to attend the event to find out who that is. So if you want to hear that kind of story and other stories, and maybe meet some folks who are like-minded and want to better your community and make things possible for other people, for your neighbors right here in Knoxville who are struggling right now, you can help make that happen by taking part in this event, Cup of Hope. And I'm going to jump back over to Jessica again, and she's going to give us some more information on Cup of Hope and how you can be a part of that.
Thank you, Ron. Again, the Cup of Hope is October 25th at Bridgewater Place. You can jump on our website, salvationarmyknoxville.org, to find out more information about Joy D. Baker, about tickets, sponsorships. If you or your company or your business is interested in any of those things, we can help you with some information. You can call the main office here to get that information as well, and just think what impact you have to provide hope to people in need, find safety to people who aren't safe, who are terrified for their lives, for their children's lives, to give them a place where they can rest and raise their families, even if it's short term, a couple weeks, a couple months, a year, and then Blake's program to help them get back to themselves or get back to their communities and have opportunities they've probably never been given or never really had the opportunity to explore. And like Blake said, some basic things like bars of soap and food and clothing and just basics, just things that all of us probably take for granted every single day, the need that they have. So the Cup of Hope is such an important program to go right back to those families. Absolutely.
Well, again, you can get more information on that by calling our main number. I'm going to jump to Blake for that in a minute because I have trouble remembering that phone number for some reason. But you can also go to our website at salvationarmyknoxville.org. Blake, give us that number one more time.
Okay. It's 865-525-9401, extension 420.
And something I want to clarify for any of you that are listening, you're maybe thinking, oh, this is another charity asking for money. I want you to not think of it as giving to the Salvation Army. You're giving through the Salvation Army because, as Jessica mentioned previously in the program today, all of the money that is donated, regardless of whether it's for an event like Cup of Hope or a program like Joy D. Baker or one of our other many programs that we have here, it is used right here in your community. So if you're looking for a way to give and help people in your community, help your neighbors, that's a way to do it. It's just not to give to the Salvation Army, but to give through the Salvation Army. We just want you to have an opportunity to see where God's moving and where things are happening, where people are helping people in the name of Christ, and it's being done by being motivated by the love for people. And if you want to see that happen and see it continue, then by all means, please invest in your community by giving through the Salvation Army. And yes, there are a lot of good programs out there, a lot of good organizations that are doing a lot of good work. Salvation Army is just one of those. And but we have many programs that are happening here, many people that are success stories because of these programs, because of people just like you who maybe thought at one time, what possible difference can I make? Well, you can make a huge difference in someone's life today by helping out the Salvation Army develop even more of these programs as we go that are going to help kids. We have an after-school program called the Homework Club where we watched kids who don't have anything to come home to except, they come home here. Fortunately, their parents are involved in one of our programs, and so the kids come home from school here, and they have actual help and someone not just to watch them or to sit for them, but to actually help them with their schoolwork, help them understand the stuff that maybe they're struggling with. We've actually seen grades increase in these children because of a program like that. So that's what you're giving to when you help out the Salvation Army. Whether it's volunteering, if maybe you're thinking, I don't have the money to give. Well, that's okay. We have lots of opportunities for help in a physical nature. If you like distributing things, we're going to have a distribution day at Angel Tree. When Angel Tree registrations are over and it comes time to distribute those gifts, we're going to need help. And so if you want to volunteer to help with that, please go to volunteareastn.com, click on Salvation Army, and find our volunteer opportunities there. Also, if you want to register to ring the bell at one of our Red Kettle places during the November and December Christmas season, go to registertoring.com. And we're going to be going to a break right now. We'll be back in just a little bit with more of the Salvation Army's Behind the Shield right here on Joy 620 WRJZ. And we're back with the Salvation Army's Behind the Shield right here on Joy 620 WRJZ. Again, we are joined by Blake Kraft, who is a lead case manager here at Your Salvation Army in Knoxville, and also Jessica Maples, the marketing administrator at Besco and Ingert. And I am saying that correctly.
Correct.
Am I not? Tell us a little bit again about Besco and Ingert.
So Besco has been an electrical contractor in Knoxville community since 1950. Ingert has been a mechanical contractor in Knoxville community since 1891. Yes, my numbers are correct. It is 1891. So together we have served the Knoxville community for 200-something years. I've lost track. And we have recently kind of combined our forces together so we can offer a full package, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing contracting to your commercial work, industrial, automotive, multifamily housing, service. So consider Besco and Ingert if you have a need for electrical, mechanical contracting.
And how would they go about contacting?
You can go to besco.com, and our main office number, which can get you routed to whomever you need, is 865-524-1851.
All right. That's great. I think, like she said, Besco and Ingert has been they've been a great help to the Salvation Army in past years and continue to be, and we're very grateful for their support and also for lending you to serve on the board as well. We certainly appreciate that. As we've been talking about in this episode, it's been all about the Joy D. Baker Center and specifically a fundraising event for that program called Cup of Hope that's coming up very soon. And I want to just ask Blake real quick to give us her take on that event because as I understand it, there's actually some fun things. It's not just a stuffy fundraising event, right?
It's not at all. It's something that staff members get excited about. The women that work in the Joy D. Baker Center, we dress up, we get excited about attending and connecting with community members, and just being able to lend our expertise and what we do day to day to people who are interested in learning more about what we do.
Okay.
Any questions or concerns, we're open to having conversations with people and helping them understand.
Perfect. And I had mentioned previously that there might be cornhole but there's not. You said there's not.
I wish.
Okay. Well,
maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Well, it is East Tennessee. I'm just saying. Anyway. Okay. So, Jessica, if you wouldn't mind, we're coming up. We're coming up on the end of our program today. But just want to throw it over to Jessica again to give us the specifics on Cup of Hope, how you can get involved, and how you can learn more about it.
So our Cup of Hope event is Tuesday, October 25th at the Bridgewater Place. It's a luncheon starting at 11:30. We'll have programs and lunch, of course, and Cup of Hope boxes, which is mystery prize boxes that you can purchase for $25, $50, or $100. You can pre-purchase those with your tickets, or you can purchase them on site. With that, we're also looking for community partners. If you have a business or an opportunity you would like to donate a gift in kind, a gift card, or merchandise for these prizes, for these baskets, that would be amazing. You can contact us at the Salvation Army, salvationarmyknoxville.org, or call the main office and we can get you connected to who you need to talk to.
All right, that's perfect. And as we said before, all of the proceeds for this event go to benefit the Joy D. Baker Center, which is a domestic violence recovery program here at your Knoxville Salvation Army. And we want you to feel like you own this organization because it truly is yours, Knoxville. We want you to make sure that you feel that ownership, that you can be a part of this, and you can help fund programs and hope for people that would not otherwise have it. But with that being said, that is going to be all for us here at Behind the Shield. So thank you very much. And join us each Monday at 5 o'clock right here on Joy 620 WRJZ. Till next time, have a wonderful, wonderful week.